You're listening to a Soul One podcast.
All right, award seasons fan, the 2026 Oscars pool is now live through You Had Me at Skip It. You can go to solonearts.ca/podcasts. That's solonearts.ca/podcasts and fill out your ballot for a chance to win your own episode of You Had Me at Skip It. You have a chance to produce your own episode on a future show. So head to Soul One Arts website right now. Just go under projects, hit the podcast tab, and there you go. You have a form fillable that you can fill out and enter our Oscars pool. All we need is your name and an email, and you're off to the races. So get those entries in, and best of luck during award season.
We are recording, Katie. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for subbing in. I really appreciate it. This is Taylor, and you're listening to You Had Me at Skip It. And Katie is filling in for my regular co-host, Mike. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming. What's the weather out your way?
The last 2 days have been really cold, but today is at least warming up a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't snow much more, but I don't know. I heard we're getting snow, but then it's warm, so it might be rain. I'm done with winter, so hopefully, yeah.
Agreed. I can't do any more accumulation. I am getting family photos done on Sunday, and it looks like Friday or Saturday we might be getting freezing rain, which doesn't bode well because Saturday I'm working a work event, and we don't have a rain day. We don't have a backup, so tough, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Okay, well, I guess we can talk some movies and not just the weather. I do have, for weeks and weeks and weeks, Katie, I've been talking about our Oscar ballot, which was not up. I do not hold any responsibility for that because I do not update our website. But anyways, Mike has finally updated the Oscar ballot. It is live and on our website, which is solonearts.ca/podcast. So I've been instructed by Mike here in the Google Doc to read solonearts.ca/podcasts. And then he would like me to spell it out. solonearts.ca/podcasts. And if you scroll down on the podcast page, you'll see our Oscar ballot. Mike typically keeps it open a couple hours before the award show. Obviously, if it's open during the award show, that would be cheating. So he does close it before the night starts. And I do believe the Oscars are March 15th. But let me double check. So you have until Sunday, March 15th, probably around the afternoon, to get your Oscar ballot in. And then the person who gets the most right answers, so whoever, you're guessing who's going to win the award, whoever gets the most correct awards gets to produce an episode or come on the podcast. But you also have the privilege of coming on the show or producing an episode if you get the least amount correct. Katie, I think you won one year, did you not?
I won last year.
Oh, there you go. I filled it out just before we started recording, and I was like, this is probably going to be my worst year. I don't feel confident this year at all.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. There are still some movies I haven't seen, and we'll see if I see them or not.
Seems like a real toss-up because they just had, I want to say it's called they renamed the SAG Awards to, I think, just the Actors
Awards, I think.
Yeah, which sounds so nondescript.
I know.
And that happened just this past weekend, I think. And so Marty Supreme, again, didn't win any awards, and they didn't win any awards at the BAFTAs. So I feel like, I don't know, it's anyone's guess. Sinners has been winning a lot of awards, so I just leaned heavily into Sinners. Could be because I watched that this past weekend. And
is that what you're reviewing today?
No, I'm actually reviewing, which I consider a huge snub this year, No Other Choice.
Okay, fair enough.
This was a movie that I wanted to see, and normally I do try to prioritize Oscar nominations this season around this time, but I really wanted to see No Other Choice, and, you know, to me, it really was a huge snub. That is directed by Park Chan-wook.
Yeah.
And he did Old Boy, I believe. And a number of other stuff. But anyways, I'll get into that and why I think it was a snub during my review. But that's what I'm reviewing today. And I wanted to ask you, were you aware that there is a new category this year?
Yes, best casting, correct?
Yeah, I had no idea. So I'm filling out this ballot. And I was like, oh, is that a typo? Did Mike put that in as a placeholder? No, it is a real award. I think other award shows have done best cast for a while, but this is the first time the Oscars are doing it.
Yeah, like best ensemble.
Yes. So we'll see. Again, I'm not very confident as long as I don't come in last. But historically, over the last couple of years, I've been inching higher and higher and higher on the ballot. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling this year, so we'll see. Have you submitted your ballot yet, Katie?
No, I have not, but I will do that this week.
When you catch up on a couple more movies. Before we get into our movie reviews, I thought that I would read. It looks like we have two, technically, I guess, 3 fan questions, but 2 are from the same person. The first question is from Austin. I'm saying a lot today. I think it's because I have to read a lot. Mike edits these episodes, and Mike, I just want to say I have a new appreciation for you reading on air. It's not as easy as it seems. Okay, so here we go, Katie, from Austin. Have either of you heard of Train Dreams before the Oscar nominations came out? I keep track of nominations closely leading up to the award season, and Train Dreams came out of nowhere for me. This definitely was a what is this movie moment for me. Did you hear anything about Train Dreams?
I did not, but also I don't really pay. I know I'm on this podcast a lot, but I'm actually not a huge movie person. Like, I watch, I think, probably a below average amount of movies, if I'm being honest.
I don't think so. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. I think you watch a normal amount of movies and you have a healthy relationship to film, unlike Mike and I, and maybe Nicole.
I just think I watch so much TV, and I'm, like, very much more into what's happening in TV.
That's valid.
And I don't know as much about what's going on with movies. But I do listen to some movie podcasts, so I feel like maybe I've heard Train Dreams being mentioned around, but I have not seen it. I don't really actually know what it's about. So, and we'll see if I see it or not.
It is nominated for Best Picture this year. I did review it a couple weeks ago. This was not a movie that was at all on my radar. It is a Netflix original, and I've talked about this before, Katie. Netflix does a horrible job of promoting their movies.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Unless you're regularly on the platform, which admittedly I don't watch a lot of Netflix these days. It's typically Amazon Prime that I'm on. So I was looking for a nominated movie, and I saw that Train Dreams was on Netflix. So I said, bonus, I don't have to pay a rental fee. I really liked it. It's one of the better movies I watched. I'm going to say 2025, even though technically I saw it in 2026. Have you seen A Hidden Life?
Nope.
Okay. So it's very much it's very much feels like a hidden life, but you haven't seen it, so you don't really have a frame of reference. But I
Not
do.
at all.
I have a friend who we went out to lunch with her recently, and she said, "Have you heard about Train Dreams?" Her sister and her sister's partner had recommended it. I went, "Oh my gosh, you have to see it. You're gonna love it." But I don't think it's a movie for everyone. Even though I rated it as a see it, I think it's a little bit slow. Like, it's very meditative, if that's a word, like very contemplative. So for you who like doesn't watch a ton of movies, you'd rather watch TV or whatever, I don't necessarily think Train Dreams would be up your alley. But
yeah, that sounds about right.
Have you?
If it wins, I'll probably watch it.
I don't think it will.
No, I don't think it will either. But
It would be a real underdog, I think. Speaking of TV, and this is just a little bit of an aside because literally 2 people on Monday told me to watch this show. Did you watch over the weekend How to Get to Heaven from Belfast?
no, but I have it on my list. The problem is I watch so much TV, I can't just keep starting shows because then I never finish them.
Do you have cable at your house?
No, I just have streaming services.
Right. So I only asked because you watch so much TV. I would wonder if you were watching TV in real time. But
No, I just pay for all of the streaming services.
Right, and then you just watch either when they all come out, like they dump the episodes, or some streaming they're doing like one a week.
Some are week to week, yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch the new season of Bridgerton?
See, like I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay. I skipped maybe the last season. Over the last summer, or maybe just the summer that passed, I listened to all the audiobooks. And so now I'm like, I don't need to watch the show.
I am excited about this season because I actually liked this book. And it's not a huge spoiler because this is the first episode and literally the plot. But it's like very Cinderella themed.
Yes, yeah.
And I always think that that's fun when they actually take... Like, I think that that's what the Bridgerton novel should have been, is just like retellings of different fairy tales. But that's just fun.
That would have been
And
interesting.
People who make this show know what they're doing because it's a lot of like a Cinderella story and Ever After and like these Cinderella movies that are important to, I want to say, our generation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, so.
Sort of 90s medieval.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I will watch this season because you're right. Out of all the books, that one was probably my favorite. And I also, this might be controversial because, I don't know, I haven't read any of the discourse around the book, so I have no idea. I literally listened with really no frame of reference. I liked Eloise's book.
I liked Eloise's book too, and I believe that they're planning to do it.
So we'll see. I don't love the actress that plays Eloise. But anyways, enough about Bridgerton.
Enough about Bridgerton.
This is a movie podcast and not TV. Although I do love TV. Maybe we should do a spin-off, Katie, and just talk about TV.
And just talk about TV.
Okay, so this is from Tayson, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's spelt, I think, Tayson. I don't know if I've ever told you this, Katie, but I didn't learn how to read phonetically.
Okay.
So when I'm reading out loud, it's really just my best guess. Dan will be like, what are you trying to say? Like, he'll sometimes make fun of me a little bit because I don't know how to read phonetically. And if when you've read, you're a huge reader. So you know how you read words, but maybe you've never said them, you've never heard them out loud.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's kind of my everyday experience. Anyway, and Dan's like, what is happening? Are you having a stroke? I'm like, no, I just can't read. Okay, so this is Tayson, and it's a long one. This is the Superman question, Katie, so we'll see if we're able to comment. Hey, friends, I can't believe it's been nearly 8 years listening to you guys talk about movies. A couple questions for you. This one was specifically written for Mike. You express... So, yeah, neither one of us are Mike, but I'm still going to read it because at the end of the question, it does get to something we can address. Mike, you've expressed a lot of love for the characters of Superman over the years, and in particular, the last few months. You've also expressed a lot of disdain for most representations of the character. Yep, that sounds like Mike. I wanted to know, which versions of the character do you think represent him well? You've mentioned loving Christopher Reeve as Superman. Which of his movies do you like? Okay, do you prefer the Oh, wow. He, goes into, he is doing a deep dive on the Superman stuff. Do you think Smallville holds up? Have you watched any of the animated Superman? So do you have any, this is not a character, Katie, that I know I have followed at all. Nothing. I can't weigh in at all. Did you even I've never even watched Smallville.
I have not watched a single Superman movie or Smallville, so I think that we should save this question for Mike.
Yes. Sorry, Tayson, we'll earmark this one for Mike. He does ask, though, secondly, in regards to your rating system, I wanted to know, how often are you guys going on airplanes? This is really funny to me. As someone who's been on a plane maybe 3 or 4 times in the past 10 years, to have a whole category dedicated to watching movies on airplanes feels insane.
That's funny. I understand what Tayson is saying, but I also understand the idea of an airplane movie as a concept, and not necessarily like you have to be on a plane to watch it.
Exactly. He goes on to say, most of the flights, and I'm sorry, Tayson, I'm not making fun of you. This just makes me chuckle that you're taking the category so literally. Most of the flights I've been on haven't been long enough to even finish a whole movie. Lastly, okay, so we started this show pre-pandemic, and I would say I was riding more airplanes back pre-pandemic. Not to say I don't know, maybe I took like a flight like once a year pre-pandemic. Or, like, I guess you could say, like, twice a year, because, like, back and forth. You travel a little bit more because of your partner. But since the pandemic, Katie, I have not taken a single airplane.
That's good for you. It's the worst.
My passport is expired, although I do want to renew my passport, just because that feels like a document you should probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is that we needed a category that was in between stream it and skip it. Like, you know how there's like Katie, you said you can appreciate this as a concept. So there's these movies that, you know, it's not very good. You could probably miss out, but it's fine enough that if you need to kill some time, you can watch it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also think, didn't you guys used to have a category, or sometimes instead of airplane it, you'd say stream it?
No, stream it still exists. It's see it. So that's like a movie where, like, even during the pandemic, we still had see it. So, like, technically, like, you know, this movie's amazing. You have to go out and watch it any way you can. You know, like, don't wait. Go see this movie. Then there's a stream it, which is, it's a good movie. It's nice, but, like, you don't need to rush to see it. You can wait to watch it on Netflix or whatever. Yeah. And then there's skip it. Like, just don't engage whatsoever. And then maybe, I don't know how early we introduced airplane it, but essentially it's the idea that you need to kill some time. At least that's how I interpret it.
Yeah, it's like a movie that's not too serious. You don't need to pay that much attention to it, but it is also entertaining enough that, like, the time will pass.
Yes, perfect. That's how I describe it. So to answer your question, Tayson, I'm not flying on airplanes at all anymore. That's not to say I won't fly on airplanes again. But yeah, it's a concept. It's a vibe. It's an idea. All right, and then his second to last question, because then he submitted another question after. Lastly, Taylor, you famously don't think most movies should be over an hour and a half mark. Do you really feel like you can make an effective Batman movie that's an 80s, 90s period piece in less than 90 minutes? I can't wait to see how you pull this off. Blessings to you both, Jason. Okay, so you probably know this about me, Katie. I don't like movies that are typically over an hour and a half. I feel like,
I'm with you.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I feel like you are on the same page. And then I was like, when I read this question literally like 5 minutes before we started recording, I thought, oh yeah, no problem. I could do an 80s, 90s movie in an hour and a half, Batman, no problem. And then I promptly Googled how long the Tim Burton, like the 90s Batman movies were. They were all over 2 hours. And I'm like, oh, maybe I can't. I think I could do it in an hour 45. That will be my compromise.
Yeah, okay, if a movie is at like 90 minutes, I'm going to watch it no matter what. I'm like, yes, give me this 90-minute movie. If it's 2 hours, that's like a Saturday night.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you're getting to 2.5, I'm kind of like, okay, when am I going to watch this? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, some of my favorite movies are quite long. And like, even if we're just looking this year, One Battle After Another, I felt like was a great movie. It moves at a clip. It's good. Not to say that there are bad movies, but like, if a big selling feature for a movie for me is if it's an hour and a half.
I 100% agree with you. Like you said, I'll give almost anything a try if it's an hour and a half. I don't even have to be really too interested in the subject matter. Oh, it's an hour and a half, I can do it.
Exactly.
And then, it's not even a full nap time for George. I'll still have 30 minutes to meme if I want to. Anything like past the 2 hours, it's more of a commitment for me, and that's when I need to start like weeding out. So it's not that I don't like 2 hour long movies. I think there's a time and a place. And I think that increasingly movies are over 2 hours or 2 hours, and they don't need to be. They suffer from poor pacing and poor editing. So all that to say, I think I can do an hour. So for reference, because I haven't mentioned The Crow in a really long time. The Crow, 1994, one of my favorite movies. I would do like Batman in the style of The Crow. The Crow's an hour and 42 minutes. Tight, chef's kiss. I think that's perfect. So yes, I think I could do Batman in an hour and 45 minutes. All right, and then the very last question from Tayson, or maybe I should say the last comment. Every time you guys say K-pop Demon Hunters on the podcast, I hear Cake Pop Demon Hunters. And you know what? I kind of wish that was a movie too, Tayson. All right, thank you so much, Tayson, and thank you so much, Austin, for writing in. Just as a reminder, we take fan questions all the time. Sometimes they pile up because Mike forgets to put them in the Google Doc, but we do take your questions and we do try to get to them. You can submit questions the same place you can do the Oscar ballot, and that is solonearts.ca/podcast. That's soul, SOL, onearts.ca/podcast. And we hope to hear from you soon. Okay, Katie. We can now get to, now that the business has been taken care of, we can get to our movie reviews. So I really want to hear about Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, for a couple reasons. I feel like you are a great person to review this movie because you live in Toronto. And apparently, yes, from what Nicole tells me, this is a very Toronto-centric, because it was correct me if I'm wrong, it was a web-based program, like a TV show first?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was like very much like Toronto was a part and like part of the DNA of that show. And so my understanding is that the movie too is also very Toronto, very Canadian, correct?
Yeah, you're such a normie. You say Toronto. It's Toronto. Come on.
See, maybe again, this is because I can't read phonetically. Toronto. I've always said it that way. Growing up in Burlington.
Yeah, so speaking of movies that are an hour and a half.
This is one of them?
This movie is, I think it's just over. I think it's an hour 40.
Perfect.
But still, that is like, for me, I saw that and I was like, amazing. I went yesterday, on Monday after work. Perfect. Yes. So as Taylor mentioned, I live in Toronto and I love Toronto so much. I'm such a city girl.
You were born in, like, you've grown up. Yeah. Okay.
And so, yeah, I actually felt kind of like a bad Torontonian for a bit because I didn't know that this was I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know that this was a web series that was then turned into a TV show.
Oh.
And is now a movie. I think it's kind of akin to Kenny versus Spenny in a way. Did you ever watch that?
Yes, I was a big Kenny versus Spenny. Also, okay. I think Spenny lives in Kingston.
That's not surprising. So I think Kenny versus Benny had this kind of like real cultural hegemony. Like even my partner who's American knew about Kenny versus Benny.
That's interesting. I just assumed it was like a very Canadian, never made it south of the border. But I guess in the same way that Trailer Park Boys has penetrated the American market.
Yeah, it's like Kenny versus Benny, Trailer Park Boys, heated rivalry seem to be the things that are transcending the border.
Even Letterkenny. I hear some...
Yeah, same guys, right?
Yeah.
So the show... Because then I went and watched some episodes of the show that were just available on YouTube. And basically, I don't know, do you know anything about the plot?
Other than they want to... All I know is that they're a band and they want to play... At least this is what the TV show was. I don't know if this is the movie. They want to play at like a Toronto dive bar. That's like their goal, is to play music at this iconic Toronto bar.
So it's funny because it's not even like a dive bar and it's not even that iconic. So like that's kind of the... It's like... So these two guys who are Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll, they are in a band called Nirvana, the band, and the whole bit is that they keep attempting to book a gig at the Rivoli, which is a bar in Toronto at Queen and Spadina. It's like, I don't really consider it to be that iconic. It's just kind of a weird place. Like, it's right next to what used to be the Horseshoe Tavern, and like that was really iconic. So I think maybe that's why it's funny.
Right.
Or like, or maybe it's more of like a jazz. It seems a little bit more upscale. It's not like a jazz bar. Like, it is a restaurant as well. And the whole thing is they keep trying to book a gig at the Rivoli despite the fact that they have never actually written or recorded a song or taken any steps to contact people at the Rivoli about booking a show there. And so basically Matt, the character of Matt, just like keeps coming up with these harebrained schemes to like try and play a show at the Rivoli, but they make no sense and it's absurd. But the movie turns into like a movie about time travel where they accidentally get sent back to 2008. But it's a film about friendship and Toronto. And during the opening credits of the movie, I actually got kind of emotional. I'm like very raw right now, just in general, emotionally. And then sitting watching just like this beautiful montage of Toronto, and they make it look so good. And it's like this lovely song playing. I was like, wow, I love this city.
I love that for you.
And I will, like, and as someone I feel like I've talked about it on this podcast before, like, I love Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And a lot of that is because of the Toronto-centric focus of it. And then this movie, because they get sent back to 2008 Toronto, like, that is right when I'm in high school. And there was just so much, like, Toronto nostalgia. And I, like, would hang out on Queen Street. Like, I knew all of the places. They intercut a lot of footage. Like, it was really impressively done. They intercut a lot of footage from the web series in 2008 that I don't think was used.
Oh.
Yeah, to, like, because, you know, they time travel and they find their younger selves and, like, have to try and do something to get back to the... I don't want to spoil too much of the movie, but, like, they have to try and get back to 2025.
This is not remotely what I thought, because the trailer I saw... It made it look like almost... I don't know how you would describe this movie, but essentially what Sacha Baron Cohen does, where he, like, plays a character with real... And, like, he's with real people, and then they don't know that he's a character. They think that they're in a documentary. That's what I thought this movie was going to be like. That
so yeah, there's definitely that, like, it's filmed like a mockumentary.
Okay.
So there definitely are some interactions with people. Some of them I feel like might have been scripted, but some of them definitely aren't and are just, like, kind of, they're talking to people on the street and interacting with the crowds and stuff. But the movie is really about, like, these two people. There aren't, like, it's not the same way as, like, Borat, where the joke is on other people or they're interacting with other people to, like... as part of the movie. Like, the movie has a plot. It's like these two guys get sent to the past and then have to get back to 2025. And they, like, talk about being inspired by Back to the Future a lot. And, like, there are clips of Back to the Future in this movie and they use the music. And I'm just like, how on earth did they manage to clear the rights to this?
Maybe they
I don't understand how they got away with it or how much that cost, or if they just have a lot of goodwill and Zemeckis was just like, sure.
Maybe they pulled some strings with fellow Canadian Michael J. Fox, because he's in Back to the Future, right?
Yeah, he's the star of Back to the Future, but it's just really funny.
I love that. I asked Nicole, because she saw this in LA with a bunch of her, obviously, LA friends, and I said, did you and your partner love it because it was Toronto? Because again, she wasn't born in Toronto, but she lived in Toronto before she moved to LA and loved Toronto, was like 100% a city girl and has nostalgia for the city. And I said, was it so funny because it was so Toronto? And she went, yes, but like the Americans were also laughing. Like you don't have to be from Toronto to find the jokes funny.
There are definitely some Toronto-specific jokes. Like, okay, I don't want to spoil too much of it and, like, give away too many of the gags, but one of the things that they realize, the way that they originally find out they're in 2008 is hilarious. But then, like, the character of Matt is on the street just, like, kind of looking around, and there's a huge poster of, like, John Gameshi hosting the queue. And, like, I don't know if you remember, but John Gameshi was very much canceled.
Yes. Was it 2008?
It was later.
Okay, but that's how they're like, oh, it can't be 2025 if he's
because like John Gameshi, they're like posted John Gameshi everywhere, and like Jared from Subway. But like the John Gameshi one is like something that only people from Toronto or Canadians are gonna understand.
For sure. That's good. So it sounds like you really enjoyed this movie. One of the guys I don't know their names, but one of them, I think the one with long hair, wrote, and he may have also directed, and he also starred in the Blackberry movie, which I really liked.
Yeah, so these two are a duo. So Matt Johnson wrote, directed, and starred in Blackberry, and then Jay McCarroll did the music for Blackberry.
Oh,
like, he is an actual musician.
And you'd say the acting was good, the writing was good, like, it was just an all-around good movie?
Yeah, and I mean, I think this really is a testament to these two guys were friends in 2007 and are still obviously friends today and like are creative collaborators on things. Like they work together, as we mentioned, on Blackberry, and there have been some other things too. So I just think that that's cool. And it is a movie about friendship. Mike and I got out of the theater and kind of talked about how the time travel in the movie makes no sense, which is something we'd like to, Mike is a big math and physics and all of that sci-fi stuff. So we will talk a lot about the feasibility of time travel in different movies and whether or not it is quote unquote accurate. This one is not at all, but that's really not the point.
Was that not going to be one of your podcast ideas one day?
Yeah, it was. We were going to do an entire podcast that was just about movies and television shows that deal with time travel. That was a deep COVID idea.
And then you guys emerged and you're like, oh, right.
We were like, oh, yeah, we don't actually want to do this. No shade, just major respect to you guys. It just seems like a lot of work. I love being a guest. I don't have to deal with it.
I can't speak for Mike. This is my hobby. I just love doing it. You would just happen to have other real hobbies. So.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that if we did it, I was going to have to be the mic.
Right.
Like your mic of it and like do the editing and the post-production stuff. And that's not
your thing. You want to be the talent.
Exactly.
I get that because that is me. I'm the talent. And so I totally get it. I can just watch movies and then I show up and talk about them. So completely unashamedable. Okay, well, do you think that me, who has not seen the TV show, so I guess that's the ultimate question. So I asked Nicole, do you think non-Toronto people can see this movie? And it was a resounding yes. Although, I don't know, I feel like she's too close to the material. But so, having never seen the show, never seen the web series, I am Toronto adjacent, so I'm not completely fish out of water. But do you think this is a movie that a Taylor would watch?
Yeah, I do. I think it's very much your humor.
Love it.
I don't think you need to. I think, like, with anything, like, things that are set in New York, you don't need to be from New York, but, like, there are inside jokes for those people. And, like, same with LA and same with all kinds of cities. So it is, I would say it's less inside Toronto than Scott Pilgrim.
Okay.
But, like, it's still very much, it just shows off the city in this way. But, like, that is not... You don't need to be familiar with Toronto to appreciate this movie.
The other Toronto movie, as you were talking, that this reminded me of? The Daniel Radcliffe movie.
Oh, yeah. Is it called the F word, I think?
That sounds right. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find... Of course, his Wikipedia doesn't just have his filmography, you know, and you have to, like, click away to another page.
It is the F word.
That also is a Toronto movie where I feel like you don't have to... had to have lived in Toronto to be able to enjoy it.
No, I agree.
It's just so nice seeing Canada stuff on screen.
Yeah, because also, you know, they film a lot of movies here and then pretend that they're other places. So it's kind of nice when it's like, no, we're going to film a movie in Toronto and it's just going to be Toronto.
Yeah, we're not going to do any mental Olympics.
Okay. Yeah, to be like, pretend it's New York or something.
So, as someone who didn't know all of our our rankings, what would you rank this movie?
This is definitely a see it for me. I saw it in the theater. There weren't that many other people there, but it was a great time. So yeah.
You also saw it like a Monday at like what, 6?
Yeah, like 6. And again, as we said, it's 100 minutes, so an hour 40. Perfect.
You weren't even hungry afterward, or you were just hungry enough for dinner. You weren't dying while watching it. Okay. I watched, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, No Other Choice. This movie is a South Korean black comedy, co-written, produced, and directed by Park Chan-wook. And it was very, very good. I was going to say phenomenal, but I don't know. I'm like hyping that too much. But this is one of those movies, and I feel like the same way with the last couple movies I've watched. Begonia, this movie, next week I'm going to talk about Sinners. These are all movies that I continue to think about after I saw the movies, which to me is a sign that is a pretty good movie. That was like pretty effective, that I'm thinking about it afterwards. So the premise of this movie is pretty straightforward. It's actually, I believe, a remake. Yeah, or it's the second film adaptation of the novel after the 2005 French language feature, The Axe. So the premise is fairly straightforward. The lead character is, I would describe as a middle-aged, they call paper man, like he works in the paper industry in South Korea in a paper mill. They make specialty security papers. So he kind of has risen up in the corporation, but he's also, by the looks of it, I don't think they ever say his age, but I would say like late 40s, early 50s. So at that kind of age where it's difficult to transition and work. So at the very beginning of the movie, he gets let go because the paper industry is essentially collapsing in South Korea. And so he's desperate to find new work, but he's desperate to find work in his field, in the paper field. And this isn't spoiling it. You know this pretty much from the trailer. His solution to find work is to kill off his competition. So he finds out, you know, he's gunning for a particular job, and so he figures out who are like the people in front of him, and he kind of deduced like he has to kill 3 people in order to get the job he wants. And so the rest of the movie is essentially about him trying to kill his competition. So that's the movie, and it is a black comedy. It's also a thriller. But to me, it leaned more into the black comedy. I found this movie very funny. But as I talked with Nicole last episode when I was reviewing Begonia, black comedy as a genre is not for everyone. Katie, are you a black comedy fan?
I am. Yes.
Okay. So I feel like, I don't know, it's hard. I don't know how dark you like your black comedy, but this movie, I will say, and if people are familiar with Park Chan-wook, this won't be a surprise. I just want to pull up some of the other movies he's worked on. He's known most...
The Handmaiden is like probably his most famous, I would say.
I loved The Handmaiden. Old Boy also he's very famous for, and Lady Vengeance. He's made a ton of movies, but you're right, Handmaiden is probably most popular in Western markets. He also did he directed Stoker. Stoker's one of my favorite movies. There you go.
I haven't seen that.
He's also directed a vampire movie, Thirst. So I haven't seen his whole filmography, but the movies that I have watched of his, I actually really like. So, but if you are familiar with his filmography, you'll know that they're funny, but they're also very violent. And this movie does not shy away from the violence of the murders. And there's one murder in particular is pretty gross, and the camera lingers and you see it happen. So if you're a little bit squeamish, I would say this movie isn't for you necessarily. It isn't the most violent movie I've seen by any means, but for a Black comedy, it definitely would be on kind of like the violent end of things.
Right.
With it, still being a comedy. I thought this was very well acted. I don't watch a lot of South Korean movies, so I apologize. I'm not super familiar with the cast, but the lead character, and I apologize, I'm gonna butcher these names. Lee Byung-hun is the actor who plays the main character. He was amazing.
Okay.
He reminded me of Mads Mikkelsen. If this was I was going to say an English remake, but Mads Mikkelsen isn't American. But I could see this movie being remade with Mads Mikkelsen as the lead. I thought he was great. The lead character, amazing. And then it's a pretty tight cast. There's the lead character, the three sort of murder victims, and then essentially like the family of the main character. All of them are really good. There's it was funny. It was well acted. There was a couple stylistic things that I wasn't a huge fan of, in terms of there was some editing that I wasn't super hot on. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than like saying kind of like experimental or like non-linear. No, it was a linear story, but he would kind of, in like post-production and the editing, he would kind of like overlay scenes onto each other. Like, I don't have the technical language to describe what was happening in this film, but I did not like like those things.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty traditional person when it comes to my filmmaking. I like a nice narrative plot, straightforward, I don't like a lot of time jumps, and I don't really like creative editing. So I would say this movie was well directed and well acted, but there was some stylistic kind of editing things that were happening that were a little bit more experimental for my tastes. But overall, it didn't really detract from the movie, and to me this is definitely a see it. And I think it's absolutely insane, Katie, that this was not nominated at the very least for Best International Movie for the Academy Awards. I have no idea why it wasn't. And so let me just real quick pull up Best International. I don't think I've seen any of the Best International movies yet. Excuse me. Sentimental Value is getting a lot of buzz.
Is that for Best International?
Yeah, from Norway. So, The Secret Agent, Brazil. It Was Just an Accident, France. Sentimental Value, Norway. The Voice of Hind Rajab from Tanzania. And Palestine 36 from Palestine. So, I haven't seen any of those movies. I might try to sneak in Sentimental Value because it is available on Prime now as part of the subscription. You don't have to rent it. But it just seems wild to me. I haven't really heard any buzz about any of those other movies. And maybe I'm biased because I like Park Chan-wook.
Yeah, so Sentimental Value and Secret Agent are also both nominated for Best Picture. So
Right.
It's always interesting when that happens, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that Sentimental Value won't win Best Picture, but I think they will give it to them for the Best International.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of buzz about The Secret Agent, is what I'm hearing.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But we'll see.
Oh, it's a neo-noir thriller. about a man fleeing persecution during the 1977 military dictatorship. You know what? That kind of sounds up my alley. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's not. It's a thriller crime movie. But Katie, guess how long the runtime is?
Wait, is it like 3 hours?
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah. See.
It's not happening. It's certainly not happening before the Oscars. And then sentimental value is also over 2 hours, but I don't think it's as long. Let me just 2 hours 13. So if I have to pick between the two, I'm watching sentimental value. Sorry. All right, so yeah, no other choice. Definitely a see it, with the caveat being there is some violent imagery. It is also a pretty stressful watch in the sense that, you know, it's stressful for you to watch someone lose their job and then like struggling to try to provide for their family. You know what I mean? Like in this economy, like it hits. So anyways, yeah. No Other Choice and Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, both see it.
Yeah, also see it.
I feel like I know you haven't watched a ton of you don't watch a ton of movies, Katie, but my 2026 has been off to a strong start only because I'm watching the Oscar nominations for 2025. So far, most of the movies I've seen this year have been pretty good.
Yeah, I'll echo that. You're talking about No Other Choice as being a snub, and that is on my list of things I want to see because I have heard really good things about it. Also, I want to say a snub, and I feel like this is a movie that nobody had heard about, is The Testament of Anne Lee. Are you familiar with this?
Did it? I thought maybe it was coming out in 2026.
So it came out, it was one of those things where the studio just kind of, like, Searchlight did not do a good job. It technically came out in 2025, but it wasn't available in Canada. It was at TIFF, I think, but then it wasn't available in Canada. Like, I saw it in January, and it was amazing. Amanda Seyfried should have absolutely, like, the movie itself, fine, but she should have been nominated for Best Actress in a leading role. Like, unbelievable. But it's also the things that I like. Even though it was a little bit long, I will say I think it was a 2.5 hour movie. It's a period piece and also a musical, which are my two favorite things. And
it really scratches my itch because it's about an obscure Christian sect.
Exactly.
I do want to see this. I guess I was confused. Yeah, okay, in Canada it came out on Christmas. So it really just flew out under the radar. I do want to see this one. Was the music good?
Yeah, I mean, I am a really big fan of Shaker hymns because, I mean, Anne Lee founded the Shaker movement in the United States, so if people are familiar with Simple Gifts, like, Shaker hymns are really, you definitely know one, you'll hear them and be like, oh, I didn't know that was a Shaker hymn. Like, music was so important to their worship and their spirituality. So I've always really liked that. So seeing an entire musical film that incorporated that was amazing. And then also the choreography, because I work in the dance world, like, the choreography in the film was really, really well done.
Interestingly, only 38% have liked this movie based on Google users. But I feel like this is a very specific movie.
Google users? What metrics are you... People are like, oh, it's got this on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, it's got this on, like, Metacritic. What are you Google users? What is this?
So when you Google a movie, The Testament of Anne Lee, and you just, like, pull up the Google... and you scroll down, and then on the right-hand side, it, like, gives you the option of renting the movie, and then it goes to the About, and that's where you'll see the IMDb, the Letterboxd, and the Metacritic, and then underneath, Google users can do a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and 38% have liked this movie, but it does have an 80% on Metacritic.
Yeah, and an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes. Okay.
I don't know. I think I will really enjoy this movie. So
I think you will too. It's, like, very much up your alley.
Tailor coded. Okay. So that's another little snub. It's it wasn't even nominated for these type of movies. Typically get nominated for what I would call the
production.
Yes. Yeah. Like not even costuming.
Nope.
Weird. And she also was in this. was it this year or last year? She was in another movie with not Sabrina Carpenter. Oh my gosh. Sydney Sweeney.
Yes, The Housemaid.
Did that come out in 2025 or 2026?
That came out in 2025. That's more of it still is on my list of things to see, because it's based on a fairly popular book, like a thriller type book. Like, it's in this kind of genre that took off after Gone Girl.
Yeah.
Which I think
Angry housewives. Or how would you?
Yeah, with that there's definitely like a twist.
Yeah.
Somewhere that you don't see coming. So
that to me got more buzz than The Testament of Anne Lee, and it sounds like The Testament of Anne Lee was a better movie, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, they're different movies. The Housemaid is definitely like a popcorn movie.
Yeah, fair enough.
And maybe an airplane it, whereas The Testament of Anne Lee is like a auteur film.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to add? I don't think you'll be on again prior to the Oscars, so any last Oscar thoughts before we head out?
No, it'll be an interesting year because I think that there seems to be a bit of a split happening, and then sometimes something random emerges from that. So just the way that the votes fall. So I think it's actually a pretty unpredictable year.
Yeah, I think
that's exciting.
It's going to be a fun watch. All right, well, thank you everyone so much. Just as a final reminder, you can submit your Oscar ballot now. It's at solonearts.ca/podcast. We would love for you to participate, and I would love for you to win or lose so that you can produce an episode for me. And in the meantime, go see some movies.
All right, award seasons fan, the 2026 Oscars pool is now live through You Had Me at Skip It. You can go to solonearts.ca/podcasts. That's solonearts.ca/podcasts and fill out your ballot for a chance to win your own episode of You Had Me at Skip It. You have a chance to produce your own episode on a future show. So head to Soul One Arts website right now. Just go under projects, hit the podcast tab, and there you go. You have a form fillable that you can fill out and enter our Oscars pool. All we need is your name and an email, and you're off to the races. So get those entries in, and best of luck during award season. Thank you for listening to You Had Me at Skip It, a Soul One Arts Inc. podcast. This podcast is produced by Mike Shepard and Austin Spinner Summer. It is a project of Soul One Arts Inc. To learn more about Soul One and all the great work that Soul One is doing in the arts community, especially in film, theater, and other performing arts, visit solonearts.ca. You can contribute to this podcast by visiting solonearts.ca and going to the podcast tab. You'll find all the information on You Had Me at Skip It and how you can get your questions read on air each week. Thank you again for listening.